After watching Tesla's AI event, my mind is blown by the vertical integration and just product innovation in and of itself, giving me a way higher conviction in the company. And I, in fact, even purchased more shares of Tesla stock because, in my humble opinion, the true value of that market cap is going to come into play with self-driving. And their data sets are the largest. And to make it even better, they're building their neural net into a video game so it can play the game and add even more data sets. And we're starting to see this vast difference in how hard it is for competitors to even get close to catching up. Lucid Motors has dropped some demos and revealed that they're not even really working on self-driving. And what we're going to react to today is Sandy Munro, who's getting his first experience with Ford self-driving software. And it is just relatively fascinating here, folks. So strap in, hit that like button, and let's get right into this.
We're now back in hands-free zone. Okay. So we're driving our new BlueCruise feature launching on the Mach-E. And this is a feature that allows you to drive with your hands off of the steering wheel in limited access divided highways like this one. We're supporting, as we launch this feature, almost 130,000 miles of hands-free, what we call blue zones in North America. And we're really excited to offer this feature to our Mach-E customers as well as F-150. At the moment, there's what we call a driver-facing camera that's on top of the steering column. I'll point to it here. It's actually facing the driver, and it's verifying that the driver has his or her eyes watching the road.
Okay, so we're coming up to University right now, I think. Oh, this is
a little bit. Sorry. Yeah, a little bit.
Anyway, when we get there, will it take the off-ramp, or will it just say drive from now on?
Yeah, so when we launch this feature, it's going to continue in this lane until you change lanes manually, take an off-ramp manually. The navigation isn't necessarily integrated into the feature.
I see.
So what we have right now is them just getting their feet wet within the idea of this. And when I think about Ford, I really don't think about, computer innovation, chip innovation, like neural net thinking, because that's what's really behind this. And we can just see how limited their data sets are because they're highly focused on primarily just getting highway driving down pat. And right now it just seems to be lane assist. You have to be in a specific lane, no on and off ramps, no in towns. And we're going to hear a little bit more about where they're kind of moving forward as he asks questions.
So
okay.
Lane changes are manual. You would manually indicate that you want to shift left or right. Hands back on the steering wheel, change lanes. Once you're centered, the vehicle will offer hands-free once again after you change lanes manually. We rely on the driver to put the vehicle in whatever lane the driver wants to be in.
Do you do if you're driving fast, it's nice to apex, like if I'm taking like this curve here and I happen to be in the right-hand lane, I would normally, keep hands.
Yeah, so this is a bit of a sharp curve. This one and the next one, it's going to keep you safe. It's going to ask you to put your hands back on the steering wheel, and I'm glad that you noticed that. That's an indication that our immersive cluster with all of its animations is catching your eye. So now...
Yeah.
Our immersive cluster is catching your eye because the car doesn't have enough knowledge to even take a slightly sharp bend on some of the major highways that we only have current availability for the self-driving technology. Like, this marketing just doesn't look good in my humble opinion, and it really kind of continues to drive that fascination and hype around Tesla's full self-driving beta right now.
We're through the curve, it's going to offer hands-free back to you. And then once it approaches this next one, it'll likely ask you to revert hands-on once again.
Yeah.
And it really only does that for sharp curves, as these two curves are. As you noticed, back a bit.
So we're going to just pop that off. He wants in and anyway, so let's do this.
We'll get off of University. Is that what is that what we did here?
I'm going to just put that back on. Ready, but not doing anything. Hang on. So let me get this going again.
Yeah, so it looks like you accidentally bumped the cruise control off button. So if you hit the leftmost button just to reactivate...
Well, I'm pretty sure that it wouldn't have done it on that curve.
Oh, that's probably true. So here we
are.
are, back in a hands. Now that we're out of that really sharp curve, it'll offer you hands-free again. And it'll...
That really sharp curve, like I'm not trying to be cynical here, folks, but the reality is self-driving is a really hard problem to solve. And I just can't get over how clunky and kind of terrifying that really is when you're driving. This thing starts flashing, and what happens if you just don't take control of it. I'm kind of curious, would it just slow down and stop? I mean, a lot of this doesn't get explained right now, so obviously I'm hoping some people are going to be getting this update in their Ford Mach-E's, and we'll see more videos roll out over time as people try and test the limitations of what's currently available.
Handle, reasonable curves. It's only those few places like we have around this area where you have sharp curves where we ask the driver to revert back to the hands on the wheel.
So how far down the road are we before you'll be able to do normal city driving, or in this case 2-lane highways and things like that?
Yeah, so we are working to continually improve and enhance the features, and I think universities where you want to go.
Away.
Yep, so what we launch with, we'll have the ability to upgrade over time with our Ford Power Up software updates, and we've already talked about a few enhancements that we'll be offering our customers. Things like lane change assist, where instead of manually changing lanes, BlueCruise will help the drivers do that in an automated fashion. That we've announced that's coming soon, as is the ability to control the speed of vehicles if you're going around sharp curves, what we call predictive speed assist. Those curves back there, we would...
okay, so just to interrupt, that's my exit. Is it going to do anything?
No, so you'll need to manually exit here, and now you're in control, fully control the vehicle again now.
I do like the Tesla driving experience better, and the reason for that is because I do not have to worry about a sharp or like a narrow sweeping curve. You need to address that. I think that would be something that you absolutely flat out would want to have better than what you've got.
Okay.
And the reason basically is that I got a pension plan that I need to be funded, fully funded, and I want to see you guys. Is that it? Good.
That's it.
So I'll turn this off. So anyway, all in all, it was okay, but I guess I've been a little bit spoiled by watching what Tesla's been doing with the full self-driving beta. That is really impressive, and I'm going to suggest that somehow, if you can, get your hands on that and try it out. It'll help you understand what I was talking about as far as improvements are concerned. So I don't know what else to say except keep watching, boys and girls, and maybe we'll get another ride and drive, and I'll go, oh, this is marvelous, but not this time.
So, look here, folks, we're going to finish up with that, but I want to talk about the value proposition here, because clearly Sandy's a little concerned about his retirement pension plan and maybe some investments in Ford as a company. But when we're talking about value from a customer standpoint in this current market, Ford's current vehicles tend to cost a little more than you can buy a Tesla for. And when you're looking for that integration of just comfortable self-driving, it's just so clear the disconnect here when you're paying such a high premium for, say, something like a Mach-E, and it can't even do lane assist. And that's an update coming down the road with no mention or timeline of basically when you can drive in suburbs. With Tesla Tesla's self-driving beta is already doing with such a stupid high degree of success. And I honestly think this is one of the reasons that we're going to eventually see a massive divide in the future. I'm willing to make a very bold statement here, and I say this a lot, that I think in the future we're going to see the largest consolidation in the auto sector than we've seen in the last 100 years. I don't think most companies are going to survive this transition, and we can just see how clunky and challenging it is now for Ford, a legacy automaker that people look so highly up to. And when this is kind of the PR that's rolling out, it does not get people excited about a Mustang that can't even change lanes, when they're watching their buddies Tesla take them around the suburbs with very little interaction. I mean, you can go watch these videos online, right? So this is some of the stuff that just made me so excited, especially with AI data, just continue to pick up shares, especially if you have a 5 or 10 year time horizon with all that other product innovation. Because I mean, it's just so unbelievable to me that people somehow still think that what Tesla's doing is just easily replicatable from any other company. But meanwhile, the only companies they're competing with really are Google and other massive tech giants. And it's just showing you how much farther that proven capability of Tesla not just being a car or auto company. And I get that same reminiscent when I started buying it back in Tesla stock in 2019, because in 2019, it was the same thing. There seems to be this divide of people that just don't understand the true value of where Tesla's at, and that long term, because they've had 5 or 10 years to get this stuff under wraps, and it's finally getting somewhere. And these guys are just starting. That PR is not going to do well on that balance sheet in the coming years, I think. So be prepared. I'll make that statement again, guys, that sometime in the next 10 years, we're going to start seeing a consolidation period of people that aren't going to survive this transition without partnering with other large tech firms. It's going to be exactly like what we saw in the phone sector when there was Nokia, BlackBerry, all these different phones to lead basically Apple in destroying that market. I think we're going to see the same thing with something like, similar to Nike that just dominated a brand, brought that hype and basically dominated the shoe market. And I think that's just generally what's happening across every sector of the market as companies become insanely disruptive and steal that market share. But I think the painting is getting clearer and clearer on the wall, and anything Tesla's doing beyond this is just going to be extra added value at some time in the future, especially when we're talking about the Tesla bot, right? So, I want to ask you guys what you think about this. I am just enthralled by it. So let me know what you think in that comment section. Stay cool, stay awesome, and I look forward to catching you tomorrow.